Hey, I am back with a special bonus track. So this is going to be a podcast that we are only releasing on your podcast apps. This one is not going to have a video with it, but Lauren has wanted to be on the podcast for a long time. We've been doing it for almost a year now, and she is a little salty because Ashley has been on the podcast and Katie has been on the podcast, and we've not had her on. So Hey, Lauren is here with me.
Hey, y'all.
That was very cheerful. Hey.
Well, you told me to be loud.
I did tell you to be.
Was I supposed to be like, hey, guys?
Well, that's your normal, so no. Anyway, so we were having I'm just going to jump into, because we were having a conversation earlier. Actually, let me back up. We'll ease into that one. Let's talk about the fun stuff first. So
I think we need to start it off with the middle one for sure.
Yes, that's what we're going to talk about. So you messaged me.
First I saw this TikTok.
Okay.
It was from the Savannah Bananas TikTok. One of the players, actually, Coach Rack was his name. And he was basically like just talking about how to basically be like a member of the team or whatever, and was like, although you like have to have some experience, you have to have an entertainment and you have to put the fans first. And he was saying how you do have to have a social media following, but that's not as important as the other stuff. And I was like,
so it's not about actually playing baseball. First of all, for those of you that maybe don't know, the Savannah Bananas is a minor league. Are they minor league technically? Baseball team. I don't know if they are or not.
I don't know what they are.
I think they're minor league. And so, but they have freaking exploded, but for good reason, because these boys they are outstanding. They are funny. They can dance. They are good looking.
Well, did you hear? I think Dad was telling you earlier, they have a 3.5 million people wait list.
Yes, to get tickets, which is crazy. So I've looked into getting tickets a couple times. Can't ever find anything. I've done like the email list, and I've gotten a couple of emails, but I've lost interest basically. So their games are really fun. They're very interactive with the crowd. They do silly stuff. So like the rules for their baseball games are not the typical rules for a baseball game, is my understanding. Again, I've not been, but what I've seen is it's kind of like, if you're my age, think of the Harlem Globetrotters, basically. Do you know who the Harlem Globetrotters? Okay, that's sad.
But anyways,
they're the Savannah Bananas. They are the Savannah Bananas for basketball. Back when, this is probably even a little bit before my time, honestly. But they did the kind of same thing. They did silly stuff and they did tricks and whatever with the teams that they played against. So, and the Savannah Bananas are basically doing the same kind of thing.
Well, in the TikTok, he was like, oh, if you want to sign somebody up, go to our website and go down and find prospective players. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God, how funny it would be if I signed Jackson up,
Just without asking him or telling him you're just going to sign Jackson up to be a Savannah Banana?
He knows how to play baseball, so he's got that down. I'm sure he can. I don't know if he can sing. I've heard him sing in the shower. Not very great, but he's got some dance moves now. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
He's got some dance moves, and it's like, you don't have to sing or dance. You could literally have any talent. Like one of the kids on there, he plays baseball on stilts, and they call him Stilts.
Oh wow!
So like
that's a
he'll
talent
pitch and stuff. Like he'll run the bases, he'll slide
on stilts.
On stilts.
Oh wow, that is interesting. Well, so, it has turned into a cultural phenomenon, and I'm sure if you are listening to the podcast and you live around our area, then you know all about the Savannah Bananas. But so Lauren she's become obsessed with Savannah Bananas, but why did you want to sign Jackson up? This is where the funny part comes in.
Oh, well, the reason I did was because, I'm single. I'm 21 years old.
Yeah.
I've only dated one person, trying to figure it out, date around before I'm like, all right, let's just pick the next guy and eventually get married one day.
Let's first of all, we're going to table that, but we're going to come back to that because we need a better plan. Go ahead.
Well, no, I'm not.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying,
go ahead.
Got to date a couple before I decide to get married.
Let's not just pick one. Okay, go ahead.
That's my point in this.
Okay.
But I would want him to be on the team and then get close with some of the guys that are single and then set me up with one.
Okay, so Jackson, no pressure. No pressure that you were 24 and a half and you haven't played baseball in, 6 years?
Well, some of these people haven't played, like, baseball because some of them are, like, they were pro football players or, like, some of them, like, the Stilts guy, he hadn't played baseball since high school.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well, that would apply for Jackson. I think Jackson totally could do it. I think he's got the personality that when he wants to be fun, he can. He's not always fun, but when he wants to be fun, he definitely can. He's got, I think, a very, he can be very charismatic when he wants to be. And, of course, he's my child, so I think he's, cute or whatever. So I think...
My whole point into why I was going to sign him up, because he at least knows what he's doing.
Yeah, so that was Lauren's plan to find a husband, was to sign. She had sent me a text that she was going to sign Jackson up to be a Savannah Banana so that she could then date one of them and find her future husband. And, the more we're talking through it, I don't hate it. I don't hate that plan. I don't hate it.
They're good looking.
So have you signed him up yet?
No, I haven't. But I told him I was going to. And he said, all right, sounds good to me.
Oh, well, you just got consent. So I would say go ahead and sign him up. Sign him up tonight.
Well, have you heard about
Jackson start stretching?
Other things that they have going on as well is they have the Banana Land Oversea or something.
The cruise.
The cruise. It goes, I think I want to say Cozumel, Mexico, but I'm not sure where else it goes.
Goes where?
I don't know how to say it. How do you say
it? Tell me what you think it is.
Cozumel? How do you say it?
Cozumel.
Okay, well, anyways, I was like, all right, let's just look at tickets for fun. Like, just to see, like, a ballpark price.
Right.
And, like, I guess you say the normal, like, bedrooms because they have, like, the suites and all that stuff on there, too, was $1,000 per person.
Do you know how many days cruise that is? Is it like a 3-day cruise? Is that a 7-day cruise? Like how many days of a cruise that is?
I think it was 3 or 4.
Yeah, that's pretty expensive.
But I mean, at the same time, you would be right there on the boat with them, like hanging out with them, like being like all around them, like watching them dance. I think they said they were gonna like just play baseball on the ship too, like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, and these are probably sold out at this point, I'm guessing.
No, if I wanted to, I could go buy a ticket because I was like, oh, I'll just look. Because if they're like the prices of the games, I was like, why not? Because the game prices were at least $35.
So Jackson, it may work out better for you to just pay for Lauren to go on the Banana Land cruise than you actually having to try out for the team. Just FYI. Jackson does not listen to this podcast, so he's not going to hear any of this. But anyway, I thought that was you sent me this text, I think, while I was in Ohio, and it was just so random, and I was like, where is this coming from? And 1, this is freaking hilarious. 2, did you tell Jackson? And 3, the more you talked about it, I was like, kind of don't hate it. And they are cute. I mean, I feel guilty because they're like, I feel like these kids are 18 to, I don't know what the oldest is.
Well, I have one of mine. One is 23 years old. He's single right now.
Okay.
A lot of people do fawn over him.
Really?
So.
Wait, what's his name? I need to find him. Is he on TikTok? I'm assuming he's on TikTok.
Oh, yes, he is.
They're all, okay, yes, he is. That was...
Well, they're all on TikTok, but his name is KJ Jackson or Kyle Jackson, whatever you want to put. Like, his name is Kyle Jackson, but everybody calls him KJ.
Okay, Kyle Jackson, Savannah Bananas immediately came up, so let me look at this
23 years old.
Oh.
Single.
Okay. Oh, no, that's a cute picture. See, now I feel guilty for that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's very cute. I feel real guilty for even looking at that. Dang. Okay, well, I don't need to go down this rabbit hole. That would not be good. We're going to pretend that didn't happen.
I have a second option, but...
Oh, what's the second option?
I don't know how old he is. I think he's single, but I don't know how old he is. He's in the 20s. I know that. His name's Jackson Olsen.
Jackson Olsen.
Mm-hmm.
Well... Now, that won't work because we can't have 2 Jacksons. I feel like that's too much.
But they don't look alike at all.
Well, it doesn't matter. Their names are the same. Okay,
That's why he's my second option.
Oh, okay. Is that him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, like, some of the other ones, they're cute, but, like, they're already taken. So, gotta scratch them off.
Okay. Gotta scratch them off because they are taken. This is him then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's pretty cute. Wow. Okay. All right. So the current goal in life is to marry a Savannah Banana and become famous.
I don't really care about the famous part as much. It's just marry rich.
Oh, okay.
Right now.
We've given up on a sorry, I'm getting down the TikTok rabbit hole of Savannah Bananas. I got to stop that.
But I will say they are very Christian-like. They post it all over their TikTok. They have it in their bios. A lot of them will put like a cross, an eye black, or a heart or whatever. Mm-hmm. They're all very Christian guys.
What? Well, I can also put that in my bio and put that on my face and whatever. It doesn't necessarily make me a good person. You realize that, right?
Yes, but they've also made TikToks talking about that and stuff.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I don't hate that. That's definitely something that's a good quality in somebody. Okay. What are they looking at? What are they doing?
He's trying to get that ball, but there's like stuff over there, but he can grab it. He's just not wanting to for some reason.
Okay. Okay, so do you want to talk about my the day that I had a lot of spirits trying to connect with me? I feel like my spirit guides are trying to connect with me.
That was so scary.
So
what were you watching during the day originally?
Okay, so I have been doing a lot of work, a lot of meditations, doing a lot of oracle pull cards and different things, trying to connect to my higher self, connect to my spirit guides, and like I'm not hearing them like as an auditory like voice, but I'm definitely getting signs. And so that day I had done some journaling, I had done my oracle deck, blah, 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 whatever. So anyway, I am now looking, I was listening to a video. I was also researching my human design, and my human design has so many parts. You hear me talk about my human design all the time. Are you with me? Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening to you, but I'm also watching him struggle.
Okay, well, I'm going to need you to listen to me if you want to do this podcast. So, I was digging into my human design. I was looking into one of my channels, and so I had gotten a video from people that I'm trying to learn about the human design from. They had a video that was specific just to this channel. It's called the channel, it's the channel, I think they call it the channel of structure. No, I think it's the channel, they call it the channel of money, basically.
Well, I had heard you listening to it earlier that day, like I was in my room or something, so I knew you were doing all that stuff.
Yeah. So I had listened to it up here, and then I had taken it downstairs. I had given it to your dad. I'm like, go listen to this. I want you to see, like, do you think this, like, I resonate with this, but do you see that in me or whatever? And so he listened to the video, and I think he stopped it probably, I don't know if he stopped it midway through, if he listened to the whole thing. I'm sure he didn't listen to hardly any of it because he didn't really pay attention. So he brings the computer back out, and he puts it on the counter, and we just leave it there. No big deal, whatever. I'm cooking dinner at this point.
And it's paused.
Yeah. No, I don't.
No, the video was paused whenever he put it up. It was paused.
So I'm doing dinner. This is like now an hour to hour and a half later. We've done dinner, cleaned up dinner, and now your dad and I have left to go take the dogs on a walk. And you are...
I'm sitting on the couch just playing on my phone, playing the game I always play on my phone.
Okay.
And it just starts playing.
What does?
The video. And I'm not even, like, close to it at all.
The video on my computer?
Because it was on our island. And I was on the couch, probably towards more on y'all's bedroom side. Mm-hmm. So I was not even anywhere near it. So it just starts playing.
Okay.
And I'm like, this is creepy. Because it just came playing out of nowhere. So I immediately called you.
Okay.
And I was like, are you playing it on your phone and it's somehow going to your computer because you have a Mac?
Right.
So I didn't know if you could just play it on your phone and it would go there.
Right. And I'm almost, like, we're pretty close to the house at this point. We're not, we're like a good 5 minutes away or something like that. But I'm not close enough that any device that I had could have connected to the house. I'm not that close.
I had thought you were trying to scare me. That's also why I called you. And I was like, is she trying to just freak me out? Because I'm basically here by myself while they're on a walk. And so I call you and it immediately stops playing.
Immediately.
Yes.
When you call me, it immediately stops playing.
Yes. And then I hang up.
Okay.
And then it immediately starts playing again.
Until I get there. And then when I get here...
It stops again.
did it stop or did I go stop it?
No, it stopped. Whenever I went to go walk out the door to tell y'all, it stopped.
That's crazy.
Yes.
So Lauren's freaking out about this, and she's like, when she called me, I'm like, okay, well, that's strange. But, things like that happen with electronics. Sometimes things happen. And so I'm like, well, let's test it. Let's see if it really knows, because she's like, it came on and that was creepy. But what's really creepy is the fact that when I called you, it stopped. And I'm like, okay, well, let's just test it. I said, I was already in a mood of like, my spirit guides are trying to connect to me. This is just my spirit guides. They're like, trying to let me know this is just another sign, basically. And so I'm like, let's do a test and let's see if you hang up the phone, does it start playing again? And so she hangs up the phone and it starts playing again until we get home. And when we get home, it stops, which is crazy. And so I'm not like, it doesn't bother me. I'm like, that's super freaking cool. But of course, you were.
I mean, it kind of freaked me out because it's like, how did it know when to play and when to stop? And the fact that it knew I was calling you and it stopped right when I was calling you, like, how did it know?
Because they're my spirit guides and they see what's going on. Like, they see everything.
That's creepy to me because it's like, so it makes me feel like somebody's watching me, and that's kind of weird.
No, these are only to our highest and best. And maybe it wasn't my spirit guides, maybe it was somebody else, but they're only to our highest and best. They're only here to give guidance, to let us know that, we're doing things correctly, we're on the right path and stuff like that. There's no ill intent whatsoever. Bubba, I cannot. What? Do you guys hear him? Can you guys hear him crying at us? What?
I mean, it is further back. He can't even reach it now.
You can't get to your ball? Mm-hmm. Okay, hold on. Okay, so I had to go get his ball for him so he would quit crying. So anyway, that, I told you what happened that night, right?
No.
Did I tell you? Okay, so that was the end of it. I'm not freaked out. I'm like, it's not a big deal because I know, like, these are my spirit guides. They're here to watch out for me and, like, make sure I'm on the right path and all that kind of good stuff. And so I didn't think anything more about it. We just left it. I just left it on there. We sat down, we watched TV, whatever. And so when it was time to go to bed, I'm in there washing my face or whatever. Kent's in the bed. The dogs are already, laying in the bed with him or whatever. And so I'm coming out of the bathroom and he had left the bedroom door open. And so I'm turning the rope light off and then shutting the bedroom door. And as I'm shutting the bedroom door, I'm hearing like voices talking, and I'm thinking, okay, is Lauren like playing TikTok up there, like just really loud, and I'm hearing it. And so I poke my head out the door and I realize the video is playing again. Over on the island where it was before. Nobody has touched it, and it just starts playing again.
Well, I feel like if I played my TikTok at full volume, y'all probably wouldn't be able to hear it from downstairs.
Probably not. So it's not a big deal. I'm like, okay. I'm like, literally, guys, like I hear you, I understand, I hear you, I got it. And so I go and I, just at that point, I shut the video down completely because I'm like, okay, now it's completely, the tab is closed out. So if it starts playing at this point, okay, but I had already acknowledged, like, I hear you, I understand, I got it, like, I'm good.
Well, the question is, what were they trying to tell you?
I think it was more so just like, you feel like you can't hear us, but you can hear us. It just depends. You may not be able to hear us the way that maybe you've heard us in the past or the way that you are expecting to hear us. So I'm kind of expecting to hear, like, these voices, like, in my head, whether it's in my head or just like I hear it, nobody else is here. That's kind of what I'm expecting, I suppose. And so really what they're trying to say to me is you can hear us. It just may not be the way that you were wanting to or planning on hearing us. Mm-hmm. And that's all that, it was just a confirmation that we're here. We're here. We hear you. You're doing the right thing. You're connecting to us. Stop saying that you can't connect to us because you can. So that's all that was.
So, I don't know if they were trying to tell you something important or just basically just be like, hey, we're here for you. Like, just know we're listening to you. We're here. You may not see or hear us all the time, but we're here for you.
Yeah. So that was confirmation of that to me. And so anyway, so that was good. It was easy peasy. Well,
actually, going back to I think what had scared me the most about that was the fact that I was alone in the house and y'all are going away on a trip in a month or so, and they're not going to be here either. So it's like, oh, why is this going to happen to me right before y'all are going to leave?
Right. No, I get that. I completely understand that. And yeah, no. I don't like staying by myself either, so I completely understand that. And so, you know, I would, if that had started happening to me while I was at the house, even though I'm like, it's good, it's fine, I probably would have been freaked out too. So
well, it's different because y'all were like in the
just on a
neighborhood,
walk,
but
right.
it's like if y'all weren't here, because there are times where, let's just say you're at the grocery store and Dad's at the gym. There will be times I can sometimes hear like the phone calls coming from there, like it'll ring.
Like my phone is ringing.
Like if Jackson were to call you on your phone, sometimes it'll ring right there, and so I'm like, well, like I mean I know it's that now because I'm
but
here
you
all
know
the time.
that is weird. That's very strange. Mm-hmm. That is strange. That's actually kind of crazy. But yeah, okay, no, I get that. That would freak me out too. So I went to Ohio. We stayed at we're just calling it the haunted house now, even though I didn't have any type of experience.
And for some reason, you still book it.
I actually did not book it this time. Amy booked it, but we still stayed. Amy still has an issue. She still feels a certain way about that closet, but she stayed in that room again. Well, I don't know if I guess I picked it. I just naturally went to the room that I stayed in before, thinking she would just naturally stay in the room that she stayed in, and then Courtney stayed in the room with the daybed.
Well, I think it was Annie, wasn't it? The one that said
yes.
When she walked into the one with the daybed that I was supposed to be staying in when I went with you last time, she said that one was the creepiest to her.
Yeah.
Like she felt some different vibe. Like
I honestly didn't feel any type of way at all about the house. And I was so sick one day. I was up and down 2 to 3 times in the very middle of the night. So like nobody is awake. It's just me. And you know the floors creak as soon as, every time you walk on them. And I didn't feel any type of way. I didn't feel scared walking up and down, the hallway, going to the bathroom and back to my bedroom by myself. It didn't bother me. So
it would have bothered me.
I felt much more at ease in the house this time. So I felt good about that. Amy still felt like she had some issues with that closet, but I didn't have any issues. So I felt.
I mean, it is a like locked closet, so. It is a locked closet, so.
Well, not the closet than the bedroom that she stays in, but Courtney stayed in that bedroom. She didn't have any issues. So I think what makes that bedroom a little bit creepy feeling is because it has that like floor to ceiling mirror that's super wide, and it's just like sometimes you walk in and you're not really paying attention and it's like, oh shit, there's somebody here. Oh no, okay, well no, that's just me. And especially the middle of the night. Like if I woke up and saw myself in that mirror in the middle of the night, I probably would freak out. So anyway, we didn't have any issues. So we were kind of talking the other day. You went and had dinner tonight with your mom, your sisters, your stepdad for your 21st birthday.
I did.
And yesterday.
No, it was today at lunch.
Was it today at lunch? Okay. Mm-hmm. We were talking about kind of what to expect for that because you were saying, what was the conversation?
Well, hold on. Should we kind of back it up and like go into detail about the fight with my cousin kind of, so then it explains kind of why I was nervous about dinner tonight.
Sure. Why don't you do that?
So, what was it, a week ago maybe, let's just say that. I wanted to invite my friends to my mom's pool because they were out of town, or not out of town, they were out of the country. She was like, hey, you can have some friends over, just let me know, I'll open the garage. So I was like, okay, cool. Well, all my friends were out of town, so I was like, you know what? My cousin Connor has been wanting to catch up with me. Like, we used to be good buddies for a while until we kind of fell off. I was like, let's try it again. Maybe see if we can be that way again. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, all right, it could be you, me, and then I'll invite our 2 other cousins that we don't really get to see a whole lot, Brayden and Blaine.
Okay.
And so we were waiting for Brayden and Blaine to get off of work, but they didn't end up coming because they were just like, it's kind of late. Like, I don't feel like it. We're like, okay, cool, fine.
Yeah.
So me and Connor probably got there, let's just say around 5 o'clock. Originally, we had probably each had 1 drink at this point. just like chilling because he invited his friend over, which I had no idea about. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, I don't care. The kid's nice, whatever, cool. But it's like, okay, well, now it's kind of like 3 people, and I kind of feel left out because it's your friend, and
Right.
it's just me, and I don't have anybody.
Right.
But I was like, okay, whatever, I don't really care. Well, we were waiting on the pizza to get there, and it was pouring down rain and storming, so we weren't even going outside at that point. Oh, I forgot to mention the fact that I literally bought the drinks for me, him, and his friend. Mm-hmm. They were $40. So then his mom calls and it's like, oh, like, hey, what are y'all doing? We're like, oh, we're just chilling or whatever. Talk about buying drinks. I don't remember how the conversation came up. Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, we'll probably get some dinner later. And she goes, oh, who's paying? And I was like, well, I was assuming him because I already paid $40 for drinks. And most people that I know, if you buy one thing, the other person will get the other thing. That's what I've always known people to do.
Okay.
And she was like, well, he just started a job. He doesn't have any money. I'm like, okay, first of all, he probably has some kind of money to buy a thing of pizza or whatever. I don't really care what we got. Or I expected her to be like, you know what, I'll give you some money because you're right. You did spend $40 on drinks that you didn't have to buy. Mm-hmm. Of course, that didn't happen. So I had to pay, let's just say $30 for 2 pizzas. And then I was like, all right, since I bought that, one of the 2 guys can tip. Nope. So then I had to tip again.
Okay.
So then we eat dinner. We're all just chilling on the couch because it's raining. And I'm like, I'm cramping. I'm about to start my period. Like, I don't feel good. I already feel like I'm going to throw up because my cramps are just miserable.
Yeah.
And so I'm just chilling on my phone. They're like, oh, you're being so boring, blah, blah, blah. I said, first of all, I don't feel good. Like, I've got cramps. Y'all go hang out without me. I really don't care.
Yeah.
And so I was at the point where I'm like, okay, the cramps are getting worse. I feel like I'm about to throw up. Like, I'm just going to go home because I have, like, my heating pad and I have my medicine and I just, like, I want to be in my own bed.
You're right.
I don't even want to be here.
Right.
So then I go out there because they're in the hot tub. And I'm like, hey, like, I think I'm going to go home. Like, I'm not feeling good and I don't want to be here tonight. And Connor had parked right behind me. Mm-hmm. And I said, do you mind going to move your truck so I can get out? And he's like, you can move it. And I was like, no, I can't because I can't see in a truck and I'm not going to move your mirrors because I can't drive bigger cars.
Right.
I mean, I just can't. I'm short and I've just never been able to drive them. He was like, I'm not moving it. Like, I don't, like, want to get out and, like, dry off or whatever. And I'm like, well, there's a towel right in front of you. Like, you can grab it right here or whatever. And he basically was like, no, I'm not doing it. You can do whatever. And, like, in the heat of the moment, I was kind of mad. So I was like, you either move your truck or I'll hit it, which I would never actually do. But I was just mad the way he was talking to me in the moment. Mm-hmm. That I was like, okay, I just said something.
You were losing your cool.
Yes.
It was a trigger. It was a trigger for you the way he was talking to you.
Because I didn't like how he disrespected me and he was talking to me like, I don't know if it was because if I was stupid or the fact that even though I am older than him, I'm shorter. So I don't know if his height, because he's a guy and he's a lot bigger than me. Mm-hmm. And like, I don't know if it could be because he goes to the University of Georgia or I don't know what it is, but he talked to me rudely some way for some reason or whatever. And he's like, I've been drinking. I can't drive. I said, I'm not asking you to drive 15 minutes away. I'm asking you to back out of the driveway. And his friend actually said something to him. I'm not going to use the language that his friend had said, but he was like, hey, Connor, you need to stop being basically a D word to her. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's kind of embarrassing that your friend is telling you how to act. Like, I don't care if you're if you're a boyfriend or you're my friend or you're my cousin. I don't care who you are. No guy should ever talk to a girl the way he talked to me. And I was like, I'm just going to get my car. And I was crying at this point because I was like, I was frustrated. Like, I was done. I was like, I just want to go home. And like, he's not listening to me. His friend actually ended up moving the truck for him.
So do you think if that happened today, do you think you would have that same reaction? Do you think your period, being on your period, like not feeling good, had anything to do with that part of it?
I don't think so. I think it was more like I was already not feeling good and I just wanted to be home, and then him talking to me that way, it kind of threw me over the edge because I feel like my whole life I've struggled to stick up for myself, but I've recently started doing it more.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned, like, hey, that's not okay to talk to a girl or anybody like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't care if you're my cousin, I'm going to tell you off because you're not going to talk to me like that.
Okay.
I'm not going to get disrespected by you.
Okay.
Especially when I'm an adult and you're not. Like,
Okay. Okay, so
I mean, he is 18. I'm like 21. So I mean,
yes, so that happened. You were very upset by that. When you came home and you clear, even the next day or day after, whenever it was, you were telling me about it. You were still very activated by this whole interaction, and so you were okay. So fast forward to tonight.
well, I think the way I talk, like, tell these stories to you and Dad is different because his reaction is, "Oh, stop crying! Why are you crying? It's not a big deal." And you're like, "Oh, good for you! I'm proud of you for sticking up for yourself. Like you should have done that. You should not allow him to talk to you like that." So I think it's easier to have certain conversations with you about certain things because you're not like, "Oh, well, you still shouldn't have talked to him or like that, or you shouldn't have done that." It's, I'm proud of you for sticking up for yourself, not, "Oh, don't cry or don't yell." Like, I think it's, you were proud of me for sticking up for myself and knowing that that was not okay.
Yes, that's definitely something that we have been working on, just in general of getting you to recognize that you sticking up for yourself, as long as you're doing it in a way that you don't have to be loud, you don't have to be yelling, you don't have to be disrespectful. Just because you disagree with somebody doesn't mean you're being disrespectful.
Right. And I will point out to everyone that will listen to this that when I would try to stick up for myself back when I was living with my mom and like all my whole life, I was told it was disrespectful and I was being rude and like I'm causing a scene and all that. So I never was able to stick up for myself. And so now I'm like, now that I moved in with y'all, I feel like y'all have taught me to know it's okay to stick up for yourself.
Right.
And I have learned, although I'm not great at it yet because I'm still learning, I have learned to start sticking up for myself.
Yes, you have. And so now that as you're learning that, what we've got to work on is making sure that you can do it in a way that is calm and
Yes.
you're not throwing F-bombs, because that,
I did throw a little bit of those in there.
I know.
The last argument with Connor.
And I feel a little badly for that because I do know that you probably have gotten that from me. So I take that. But so what we got to work on is getting you to a place where you feel like you can calmly say what it is that you need to say without throwing in the F-bombs or raising your voice or getting to a point where it's feeling like it's making you cry or whatever. And that's not necessarily an easy thing to do. I definitely know that.
Well, I personally think that I can do it. It's just whether or not I decide to cuss. Because, I mean, at work all the time, I tell y'all all the time that this worker, Lori, she's a lot older than me. She's what, 67-year-old, something like that. Mm-hmm. She tries to talk to me and tell me I'm wrong. And she likes to be like, "Oh, well, you didn't do this, you didn't do that." But she doesn't let me explain myself and talk over myself. So I do try to stand up for myself, but it is kind of hard with her because she is a lot louder than me. And I'm a pretty loud person, but she's a lot louder than me. And she doesn't let me talk. Like, she just shuts me down and shuts me down and shuts me down.
Right.
But I do stand up to myself without cussing.
Yeah. Well, good.
I think it was more, I was just mad at him because not only are you talking to a girl like that, you're talking to your family like that. And it's like, if you're going to talk to me like that, how would you talk to your girlfriend or your future wife?
Right.
Or your kids even. Like,
well,
I don't know.
And so I think what's also important to recognize is he is still young. He's still very young. And so while that's not an acceptable behavior, it may be a one-time thing, and if he is to come to you possibly and ever, try to apologize for it.
I was about to say, I've not gotten an apology text or call or anything yet.
And you might not, and that's okay. You gotta realize that if you are waiting on an apology from people, you have to let it go, because if you don't, it tends to just kind of eat at you, and that's not good.
I don't really think I'm waiting for an apology, because I truly don't think he thinks that he's in the wrong.
Yeah.
He thinks that I'm in the wrong, and I'm not.
Right.
He's the one that's in the wrong. Okay, I get it. You had 3, 4, 5 beers, however many you had. I don't really care. I don't care if you're drunk or not. You shouldn't have acted like that.
Right.
Regardless.
Right.
In my opinion.
Well, at the end of the day, his friend moved the truck for him. It was no problem, and you were able to come home. And I want to point out that you said you had one drink. I highly doubt that you had one full drink, because I have yet to see you drink an entire drink at any point in time. You just, thankfully, are not, you and Jackson neither seem to be like big drinkers necessarily. So there was no concern. Of course, you called your dad and let him know that you were coming home. And of course, he made sure, like, what did you have to drink? How long has it been? Have you eaten? Blah, blah, blah. Because, like, if there's any possible way that this could be a situation where you were drinking, you could not drive home. So I just want to point that out too.
No, I had like a drink at, like, let's just say 5 o'clock. I probably called him about 8:30, 9:30, something like that. So, I mean, it had been a good while.
Yeah. So anyway, so then fast forward to tonight. Tonight was your birthday party, or your birthday dinner with your family. And you were a little apprehensive because you weren't 100% sure. You knew who you had told your mom who you wanted to be there, which was just like her and your stepdad and your sisters, but you weren't 100% sure if anybody else would show up or be invited or come or whatever. And so your cousin, basically, you were worried maybe that your cousin would come.
My cousin and his mother, because I don't know if he had told her the situation, because knowing him, he would tell his side and make him sound like the good person and me sound like the bad person. And his mom and my mom are like best friends. They talk about everything. Like, if she were to get the side, like his side of the story, it would be spilled back to my mother, and then I would be the one getting yelled at and making it seem like, hey, it's my fault. This was in the wrong.
And why do you feel like that would be the case?
I don't know, because, like, I feel like, I mean, I hate to say this, but I feel like Carrie favors him and Livy the most. And I feel like me and Aniston are kind of like, I don't know what you, like, if you say similar, I don't know what you would, like, call it or whatever. We're not as liked in the family, even though they may not say that. I personally, like, when I lived with them, I saw the same things towards Aniston to me. And I tended to see that Carrie would side with her favorites to me. And I knew, because of that, I feel like she would, like, listen to what he would say. And versus asking, oh, I heard your side of the story, let me go ask hers. And then figure it out.
Right.
And then figure out who needs to be in trouble or what I should say or whatever.
Well, here's the thing. You guys are 18 and 21. Like, you guys don't need to be in trouble. Like, it could be a conversation of, hey, like, that wasn't the best way to handle that. You know, you should apologize to your cousin or whatever it is. But that's not in trouble.
Well, not necessarily in trouble. I'm just saying, like, more like, hey, Sherry, you need to go tell Lauren she shouldn't have done this to him because this is what was said towards him or whatever. And things were not told back to what was said to me.
So you were apprehensive that this possibly could happen at your birthday dinner. And we were kind of talking through that and what you would do if that did happen. But luckily it didn't. They didn't come.
Thank goodness, because I was scared she was going to throw a surprise at me because I know the last birthday party, which we were close at my last birthday party I celebrated with them, which was like maybe 3 years ago, possibly. But they had come to that birthday party, just him and his mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even think we invited them. Like, I didn't invite them. I think my mom probably invited them or whatever, because I think it was originally just me, Russ, her, and the girls.
Right.
And maybe my grandpa. But they came to that last one. I was like, I get we were close then, but now is it like, is she going to throw that surprise in my face and invite them? Because she's close with them.
Right. Well, she didn't, so that's good.
I was on a surprise, and I was very glad that she did not.
Well, good. And you had a good dinner.
I did.
You didn't have any kind of conversation that you felt like was... You didn't call us crying. You didn't leave crying.
No, I didn't, and I do cry a lot most of the time when I leave.
I think lately it's been pretty good, so we are thankful for that. So you had a good birthday dinner with them. You got a really nice present, and
I got quite a few.
Yeah, you did. You got some really nice presents from them. So overall, I would say that was a win and a good birthday. Mm-hmm. So very happy for that. So
I will say, although her and Collins did kind of throw shade at me, because I opened the card and it had $100 bills in it, and I was like, and her and Collins were like, "Oh, I bet you don't even make that much in a week at Sonny's." And I counted it; it was $500, and I was like, "Yeah, sometimes depending on what I'm doing, sometimes I make over that. If I'm hosting or doing takeout and serving all in 1 week, no, I will not, 100% will not make over $500.
Right.
$500. But if I'm serving every single day, I will make over $500 usually.
Right. So the way that you just presented that conversation is very different than the way you presented it downstairs, because you were like all attitude downstairs. Oh, I'm going to tell them. Absolutely, you're not going to tell me what I make at Sonny's. So that's not really how that conversation went.
I want to sound entertaining on here and not like, oh, well, this and that, and sound snappy on here. So I was like trying to sound like, I don't know if you want to say peppy, but yeah.
So the things that you said downstairs, you didn't really say in real life? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, no, I did tell them I do make more than $500.
But you didn't, that tone right there. You didn't use that tone right there. It was it depends, depends on what I'm doing. I might make over $500. Do you see the difference?
I mean, yeah.
So which way did it go?
I was more like, matter of fact, I do make over $500.
Really?
I did.
You think you shook your head like that?
I did shake my head like that.
Really?
I did.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
I was surprised I didn't get any reactions out of that.
And you weren't told you were being rude?
No.
Okay.
I was very surprised.
Look.
She was like, "Oh, really? You make over $500 there?" I said, "I do." Because she thinks I should go to Orleans because their prices are expensive. She's like, "Oh, that's going to be all the rich folks going in there. Like, you'll make better tips." I'm like, I mean, I guess that's true, but it's not necessarily true, because just because it's more expensive doesn't mean you're going to better tips. It may depend on how you are as a server, too.
Yeah. So, anyway, I'm glad that you had a good birthday dinner. I'm glad that it was, you felt good, you looked good, and...
I was shocked.
Well, we call that a pleasant surprise.
It was.
It was a pleasant surprise. So that's good. And maybe this really is a stepping stone to a better relationship.
Let's knock on wood on that one.
We will knock on wood on that one. Okay, so the last one.
Well, that was.
It was for me and your dad, but I'm going to go ahead and ask you, even though I think I already know the answer. So, when do you get gas in your car? Is it like when the gas light comes on, it's time to get gas? Is it like, oh, I've hit 1/4 of a tank and it's time to get gas? Or is it like, hey, I'm now down to 5 miles till empty, it's time to get gas? Like, when do you decide you're going to get gas?
So, I will kind of explain this using both my cars or that I had. So the Honda Civic that I had when I was living with my mother, it would say, all right, you got 5 miles to empty, or you got this many miles to empty. Mm-hmm. And I would kind of go based off of that. I'd be like, all right, 5 miles. All right, time to get some gas or whatever.
So you would go that low?
Well, not necessarily that low. I'm just saying, like, depending on the number and depending on where I'm at. Mm-hmm. Like, I would go based off that, like, that number, like, usually.
So it wasn't like a specific, like, okay, when it gets to 50 miles, I don't care where I'm at, what I'm doing, I'm getting gas. Mm-mm. You literally said you'll let it get down to, like, 5 miles till empty.
I mean, it depends. I mean, just whatever I was feeling and wherever I was at. If I was near a gas station and I had 20 miles, all right, let's go ahead and fill up.
Right.
But now that I have the Honda Accord that I bought for my stepdad, it doesn't have that because it's a 2012. It's kind of older car. Mm-hmm. The Honda Civic was like a 2023, 2024, kind of newer car.
Right.
This one doesn't have that. It just has the fuel and empty. Mm-hmm. Doesn't tell you how many miles you have left.
Okay.
So as soon as the light comes on, depending on where I'm at, what I'm doing, if I get home and the light turns on, I'm like, all right, I can get it before work tomorrow, or I can get it after work or whatever.
Right.
But if it's like, oh, I'm just now leaving work and the light's on or whatever, mm-hmm. I'm like, all right, maybe I should get it sometime before I get home. Like, it just kind of depends on how long ago the light was on.
I'm surprised by that. As routine as you are about certain things, I'm really surprised that it's not like at 50 miles, I'm getting gas regardless. I'm very surprised by that.
No, it's just like, if I know the light just came on, I'm like, all right, I can make it home. I can get it tomorrow.
Okay.
But if it's like, I went home and then I went to Target and then I went to drive home, I'm like, all right, maybe I should go get gas before I get home.
Okay.
Because I don't want to, like, not be able to make it.
Have you ever ran out of gas before?
I have not.
Really? Okay. Well, I hope you don't.
I hope I don't either.
So, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about?
Not that I can think of.
Are you satisfied that you now have been on the podcast?
I am.
Okay.
I beat Jackson, surprisingly. I'm kind of surprised because I feel like your list of, including all of us, like, including Ashley, Dad, the dogs, and Jackson, it's probably Lincoln, and then Blakely, and then Jackson. And then I feel like me, Ashley, and Dad are tied, but it depends on the day and it depends on the times on who's higher than the other.
Oh,
but
gosh.
Those three are definitely above us, but Jackson, he was top tier, but now that the two dogs came in, it's like Lincoln and Blakely by far.
Yeah, by far. You are absolutely right. Actually, I've never asked Jackson to be on the podcast, by the way. I don't know that I've even ever considered Jackson coming on the podcast because he's never mentioned it, first of all. And, you know, I'm not 100% sure.
So I beat him, so I'm good.
Yeah, okay, well.
If the dogs could talk, they would be talking in every episode, though.
They absolutely would. And I would love it. Oh, God, I would eat that up. Okay, well, I appreciate you coming on. And I'm sorry we didn't have the video because you do look very pretty. But
the one time I get dressed.
I know. I just didn't. I couldn't do it tonight. So, anyway. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed Lauren's episode. If you think that, you know, Lauren needs to be more of a regular substitute for Kent, a.k.a. Talent, then let us know.
After last night when he was, I don't know what he said, when he was like, oh, I don't really care to be on anymore. I was like, hey, sign me up.
Yeah, I almost went and made a Facebook post and asked for, applications for people to replace Talent because I'm about tired of Talent. So we hold tight. We might
here
be
all the time. I can replace.
We might be rebranding Life's Little Arguments into something else. So. Talent may no longer be on the podcast. We don't know. Anyway, stay tuned for that. All right. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.